TPI hit the air in 1997. However, the show was known then as Turning Point International. Created by former host Victor Oladipoun, Turning Point International was designed to reach Anglophone Africa and Africans throughout the diaspora. Viewers enjoy the program's thought-provoking features, compelling interviews, powerful true-life stories, and of course, soul-stirring music.
In the blood, there is power. In the blood.
In 2010, a new era began when Muyiwa Olarewaju took over as host. His background in radio and music, as well as his passion to share the hope found in the gospel message, made him a perfect fit for the series. During the show's 20th anniversary, Nevers Mumba, the former vice president of Zambia, shared the impact TPI had on his country.
Thank you so much, and thank you, CBN, for what you've done for our people. Turning Point, what you've done for the Zambian people. We are now 87% a Christian nation, and we can give a lot of that tribute to the hard work that CBN and Turning Point has done to the Zambian people and for the Zambian people.
TPI shows no signs of slowing down. Recently, TPI was awarded Best Television Program at the 2019 African Gospel Music and Media Awards. Muyiwa and the show's producers are excited to see where God will take TPI in the future as they continue to spread the gospel throughout the world.
Well, thank you so much for meeting me. I'm really thankful after your long week of recording. When did you start being the host of TPI?
I wanted to make pop music. I was a church boy and worship leader in church, but I was like, I'm not doing all that crazy church stuff with these church people. So I work in Sony for some years. I look after Mariah Carey, Bob Dylan, Aerosmith, Maxwell, and the likes. But I didn't realize that my mother, she'd made a covenant with God. She had a dream once, and she was being given a boy by hand. She wanted to grab the boy, and the hand took the boy back and said, "You'll have to promise to give him back." And she said, yes. So I'm trying to do pop music, but she's made a covenant with God that I'll be a servant of his.
A Samuel.
I give up and I'm in church with my best friend and we just say, you know what, let's draw together some of our friends and make a praise and worship album. And it just happened that the record gets to the only Christian radio station in the UK and they start playing it and they invite me for an interview. It just happened that they'd been looking for a presenter for a particular radio show, a gospel radio show, for a year. When I finished the interview, it just happened that the chief exec and then station director heard it and said, "This is the guy we want to do the show." So I just got on, I'll say, "My name is Muyiwa Olarewaju, which is my full name."
Wow.
And the listeners were like, "Whoa, who is this?" And one of them was a young lady called Mrs. Carew, who happened to be the sister-in-law of a gentleman called Victor Oladipoun, who was my predecessor on the show. So she's in London, she calls him in America and says, "There's this Nigerian boy on radio," and he just spouts off his name. He starts listening to the station, and it just happened that he discovered that I do music, so he invites me to come over to do Turning Point as a guest. Years later, 7 years later, he leaves the show and they're looking for a new presenter. So I got here, and the reason I laughed was in this very studio, I did a screen test. And even I knew it was horrible. Because, I don't do TV. I was fidgeting and all that. Years later, I'm thinking, goodness gracious, these people were crazy. I mean,
They weren't crazy. They had a lot of faith.
They had a lot of faith, and clearly they were following something of God's instructions. They want to know my mother's covenant with God. And she was quite clear that God had told her he would preach the gospel in many nations. And it's just incredible.
It is.
So it's clear for me that it's not what I've done. I'm just, a pawn in this chess game that God is doing for the end times.
Yeah, he's orchestrating everything. It's really beautiful and incredible to hear just how he weaved everything together, links you to CBN. With your overall calling, your personal calling as a child of God, how do you feel that TPI is part of that, and how does it fulfill you as an individual, as a child of God?
Well, I guess that the big thing for us, all of us, is to go into all the world to preach the gospel. And for a number of us, you have the privilege of having a megaphone that's just incredible, and the megaphones come in different sizes.
Yeah.
Some, it's a congregation of 200 people. Some, it's a mega church of 30,000 people. And then you have people like the ones that do 700 Club or TPI, where you get to speak to millions of people. You realize it's a huge privilege to be able to do it, but also a huge responsibility that you feel.
What's the most rewarding aspect of TPI for you?
The most rewarding aspect of it, I'll have to say, is when you get the feedback. When people write in, when they put something on Facebook or Twitter, and you see a testimony from a Muslim who says, you know, I'm a Muslim, I gave my life to Jesus through watching Turning Point. Those are moments where I think, whoa.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's the people who may be sitting at home watching, who are donors, who decide, you know what, instead of buying that pair of Yeezys for Josh, or the Lego set for Caleb, you know, I'll take this money and I'll put it into the 700 Club, or I'll put it into what CBN is doing. You become the tool in God's hand to repair the mind of the young man who the devil had tried to steal away his destiny. But in hearing the word of God through the programs of CBN, God begins to turn that around, and then he becomes a tool in God's hand to send into Russia, to send into Syria, to send into Abuja in Nigeria, or to Kenya. And all you did was sit in your house, but not realizing there was a whole army of us by the Spirit of God. So it's definitely, I mean, it sounds ridiculous and sounds grand, that the whole world of Christian, but it's so true. And you cannot minimize your part in it just because you're not sitting next to the person.
Right. Well, thank you so much for talking with me and sharing all of this insight and going back to your why and going back to your reason for living, and really getting to talk about it. I really appreciate it.
Well, there's a picture how God has woven together, generationally, woven together things to get the gospel preached around the world, and specifically on that one, to get the gospel preached in Africa. And you heard the results. You heard a member of the government in Zambia saying, because of you, because of this television show, we have so many Christians, 87%. What a wonderful thing to know. The Apostle Paul said it clearly. How can they hear without a preacher? And how can they preach unless they are sent? We can't all go, we can't all preach, but we can all send. And when we join together to say, yes, let's get the gospel around the world. The gospel is the power of God unto salvation. Let us preach the good news. Let's make sure everyone can hear it, every nation, every tribe, every tongue. You're a part of it when you join the 700 Club, because we love preaching in other languages. We believe in tongues. We do programs in all kinds of languages, over 50. We're looking to figure out how do we get in every single broadcast language. You can be a part of that when you join the 700 Club. A portion of every gift goes into the work of CBN International to do programs like Turning Point, to do programs that are similar to the 700 Club with testimonies, prayers for salvation. You're part of that when you join with us. So if that's you want to be a part, give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Say, yes, I want to join the 700 Club. Now, when you call, make sure you ask for Pledge Express, electronic monthly giving, the bank doing all the work. We can send as our gift to you, Power for Life, monthly teaching CDs. There are a lot of different ways you can get Pledge Express. You can go to cbn.com. When you give monthly on the internet, you automatically sign up for it. We also have a text to give where you text CBN to 71777. and your phone will go to a giving page, and you can automatically get into Pledge Express. Either way, do it now, 1-800-700-7000. Well, you can watch Life Changers Sundays at 9:30 a.m. and then 8:30 p.m. on the CBN News Channel. You can also download the CBN Family app to watch on a regular basis. Either way, do it and get involved and know what CBN is doing behind the scenes. Jessica's a wonderful host, and she'll guide you around the world, giving you the inside scoop on CBN. Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive Family, and God bless you.